You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, you'll always get a great value for your options trades. And with powerful investing tools that provide clear next steps, plus independent research and a wide range of investment types, we can help you make better trading decisions. Learn more about options trading with Fidelity at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, November 28th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It is the top 5 things to know in the market on Wednesday. First, U.S. futures pointed to a higher open pre-opening. U.S. stock futures pointed to a higher open as markets awaited fresh signals from the Federal Reserve on interest rates, while developments in the U.S.-China trade war remained in focus. Second thing to note today is the dollar climbs to a 2-week high. Away from equities, the dollar rose for a third consecutive session to reach a 2-week high against the currency basket. The U.S. dollar index was modestly higher at 97.28 after hitting an overnight peak of 97.44, its best level since November 13. Third thing to note today is Fed Chair Powell speaks. Wall Street's eyes will be glued on Federal Reserve Chairman Jeremy Powell when he delivers what some say will be the most important speech of his tenure as head of the U.S. Central Bank. Powell is due to participate in a luncheon at the Economic Club of New York at 12 p.m. Eastern. His comments will be useful for investors who have been scaling back their expectations for future rate hikes following recent remarks from a number of Fed officials that were interpreted as dovish. A fourth rate hike for this year is expected next month, but the road from there is unclear. While Fed policymakers have pointed to 3 increases in 2019, the market's only anticipating 1. Ahead of this event, U.S. President Donald Trump kept up his criticism of Powell, saying rising interest rates and other Fed policies were damaging to the U.S. economy. The fourth thing to note today is the U.S. revised third quarter GDP. Wednesday's calendar features the biggest economic data point of the week. The Commerce Department will publish revised figures on third quarter economic growth at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, that's out, which should lend further support to the notion that the economy is on solid footing. The consensus forecast is that the report will show the U.S. economy grew at a 3.6% annual rate in the 3 months ending September 30th, a slight upward revision from a preliminary estimate of 3.5. And the fifth thing to note today is EIA's weekly oil supply report is coming out. In commodity markets, the U.S. Energy Information Administration will release its official weekly oil supplies report for the week ended November 23rd at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's out. Analysts expect the EIA to report a climb of around 0.7 million barrels in crude supplies. If confirmed, it would be the 10th straight weekly climb in domestic oil inventories. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were down 2 cents at $51.54 a barrel. Meanwhile, international Brent crude oil futures dipped 5 cents to $60.35 a barrel as traders continued to weigh prospects of a coordinated production cut among major global oil producers ahead of next week's OPEC meeting. Our second story today is from CNBC.com. Weekly mortgage applications rise 5.5% as home buyers edge back in. It may be a greater supply for homes for sale. It may be price cuts on those homes. Whatever the reason, buyers are coming back to the market and driving mortgage demand. Total mortgage application volume increased 5.5% last week compared with the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association's seasonally adjusted index. The week's results also include an adjustment for the Thanksgiving holiday. Overall volume was still 16% lower than a year ago. Mortgage applications to purchase a home drove the volume, rising 9% for the week and 2% from a year ago. Purchase volume had been trending lower on an annual basis for several weeks as home sales weakened. Sales of existing and newly built homes have been falling as rising interest rates and already high prices pushed affordability to the lowest level in a decade. Our third story today is from investing.com. U.S. third quarter GDP is confirmed at 3.5%. The U.S. grew at 3.5% in the third quarter, according to data released Wednesday, confirming an initial estimate and leaving the American economy on track for its best yearly expansion since 2005. The Bureau of Economic Analysis reported that GDP registered a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 3.5% growth in the 3-month period from July to September. That was just lower than economists' expectations for a rise to 3.6%. Analysts expect the robust expansion to continue in the fourth quarter, although likely at a slower rate. Amid forecasts that growth will also moderate in 2019 due to the possible fallout from simmering trade disputes, particularly between the U.S. and China. And our final story today is from Bloomberg.com. NASDAQ plans to pursue Bitcoin futures despite plunging prices, sources say. NASDAQ Inc. is moving ahead with plans to list Bitcoin futures, according to two people familiar with the matter, betting on sustained interest despite the cryptocurrency's dramatic plunge over the past year. NASDAQ has been working to satisfy the concerns of the U.S.'s main swaps regulator, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, before launching the contracts, people said. The New York exchange operator, which was first reported to be eyeing Bitcoin futures last year, wants to allow trading in the first quarter of 2019, one of the people said. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Wednesday, November 28th, 2018. Your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.